Yes, we've seen this map before, but guess what? It is a great map for testing out different combinations which may or may not have been possible before on an official map. Welcome to today's video, or whichever time frame in which you're watching this in. We are going to be doing an all pops with Spirit of the Forest. Now, how are we going to be doing that? We're going to be doing a Submerge support with this Spirit of the Forest so that we are able to decamoify camo balloons, which is going to be very vital in this. So let's just get cracking. As ever with a two-tower chimps, if you're going with Spirit of the Forest, you only have one option, that is hard forms. If you ever go bottom path, good luck. I'm uncertain if you ever get a two-tower chimps or a 2 Megapops in a custom map, that it would actually count as an achievement unlocked, because it is within the game, but it's not on an official map. So I don't have an alternate account where I can test out if it's possible to do or not. But if anybody has like a new account and then they are looking to get either the 2 Megapops achievement or the 2 Tower Chimps achievement, and you're able to do it on a custom map, then please let me know. But I'm not too sure if you can or if you cannot. I think the safest time to put our submarine down is not before round 24, but during round 24. Let us do that, and now we have our means of decamoifying these, and this is not going to go any higher when it comes to its tiers, although I will go bottom path since it will be able to decamoify balloons that bit more quickly. And when it comes to DETs, well, at that stage we'll have Spirit of the Forest, so it doesn't really matter, but this is mainly for pre-Spirit of the Forest. But once we do get Spirit of the Forest, then this doesn't really matter, but we do need it in the early game. Fan 33, yes, some of these do evade being decamoified. It's just when the rays from the Submerge support submarine go from its core to the outer layers of its range there. But I think it's every time when it starts going out, that's when it's actually able to decamoify balloons. But when you're able to get the bottom path, it means it's able to do that more quickly, so therefore you're more likely to be able to get it so that all of our attacks can actually attack those balloons that would normally be camoified when it spawns out onto the track. Jungle's Bounty, and then soon, or quite a bit later, we'll have Spirit of the Forest. Hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Myself, I had quite a tiring day. Like, I don't usually work on my own when I'm at work, like retail store and that, but Mondays from 4 till 5 p.m. I'm the only one on the shop floor, so sometimes it can be very, very hard when there are like lots of customers, and then you have your own little bits and pieces that you need to do, like wash the oven so that it's nice and squeaky clean for when the baker uses it the following day. And sometimes when you have lots of little things going on that stacks together, it can be a little stressful at times trying to manage everything. But the most important thing when it comes to retail work is prioritizing the customer over everything else, including yourself as well. Without customers, businesses cannot thrive whatsoever. It's like saying without subscribers, a channel would not thrive and succeed. And thank you to everyone who has subscribed, and if you've not subscribed already, then please be sure to be able to subscribe if you like this kind of content and want to see more stuff like this in the future as well. I would really encourage it because, well, you don't want to miss out on videos, do you now? Especially if you like videos like this, where we do 2 Tower Chimps and 2 Megapops, and in this case, an all pops. With the Spirit of the Forest, it's definitely possible. You just need a track that's long enough for this to be able to do this in. I hope we're able to do the bad as well, but I think with the track length of this, map, we should be able to do it in. Should. It's the big word there, should. Now 49, we are 15k away, so I was about to say 16k away from the Spirit of the Forest itself. But we are going through this quite nicely. Someone suggested to me to do a 2 Megapops with the Druid of the Jungle, and I'm like, in what could I possibly do there? Like this, okay. the Spirit of Forest, so the Druid of a Jungle is a very difficult tower to try and get pops with, especially against Moabs. Like, even now, we rely on a track that is insidiously long in order to be able to do this in. And, well, what kind of strategy do you have to pull off in order to do that? Like, you'd have to utilize 5 pop lusts, you have to utilize total transformation, you have to utilize a stronger stimulant alchemist in order to give this, and Geraldus's items, to be able to just give this thing enough pierce, enough attack speed, enough power, just to be able to have a chance to be able to pop a balloon. So I'm not in the ways of thinking that is definitely out of the reaches of what someone can do, but for me in particular, that is definitely something out of my reach, because for me, that kind of combination just feels very, very improbable because of the layers that you need to consider when setting up that particular combination. Number 1, will the pop lusts actually steal too many pops? And number 2, will there be anything else on the track that will take away too many pops as well? And then there's also number 3, most importantly, can the tower of choice be able to do enough pops without the need of so many things trying to buff it? Which is why I think 2 Megapops should be divided into 2 categories. 1 requires Geraldo, and number 2, it can be done without Geraldo, because Geraldo is such an important hero when considering 2 Megapops, because there are certain combinations, but certain towers cannot be done without Geraldo. So which is why I think if you can do it without Geraldo, then it's even more impressive. Let's say with the sub-commander that I did not too long ago, you can do that either with or without Geraldo, and I managed to do it with the support of Brickle, which means I'm able to utilize naval tactics and be able to get to where I need to be with 2 Megapops on that one without utilizing Geraldo. Because Geraldo, yes, we get why he is such a good support hero for 2 Megapops. There's so many items that he has and so many little things that he provides in order to actually benefit your 2 Megapops towers or slow down the balloons. But it just seems like 2 Megapops is so trivialized because of Geraldo, which is why I think having 2 different categories for 2 Megapops, like when it comes to like records and all that sort of stuff, would actually benefit from, like, say, hey, this tower can be done without Geraldo's assistance. And I think that's even more impressive than trying to do it with Geraldo, because obviously there are going to be some combinations which cannot be done without Geraldo, but then try and utilize the fact that maybe it can be done without Geraldo. So I know I'm rambling here and there about the same topic, and I do forget that I do ramble on about the same thing over and over again sometimes in a video. Like, I may say it at one point, but I say it in another point down the line. But I think it's mainly because I just generally forget that I've already gone over that topic. Like, if you think about it, I'm stuck here, or not stuck here, but I'm sitting here recording, and at times I do feel like that, okay, maybe this bit of information right now might be quite handy, or maybe it might not be, depending on the viewer of the video. So sometimes it can, I understand it can be very, very monotonous and boring, but I do generally care about what people say and all that, and I do definitely try and take it into considerations. But we're all human and we do forget. But it's just that sheer minority that thinks, well, it's because you're a content creator, therefore you have to know exactly what's going on at every given point in time, which can be a little bit dehumanizing and debilitating, because then people think that there is a clear, distinct difference between a non-content creator and a content creator. It's just the fact that you can hear what I am, well, you can hear what I sound like, you can hear what I am saying, but I don't know what you sound like. But I think when it comes to viewer and content creator interaction, the well-knownness of that content creator should not be a defining factor which differs between, okay, so can I attempt to talk with this individual or not when it comes to the internet space? I say internet space, not try and go out to their real life location and stalk them. Like, I'm not trying to point fingers here, but someone very, very big on YouTube done that recently, and it is a pretty dick move. And when I say pretty big, I mean 30 million plus subscribers. So that is a huge magnitude of a fan base. And with that kind of fan base, you have a big responsibility on your shoulders, because what you can say can actually affect people's thought processes in the real world, especially if people look up to you so much that people only see what you say as correct without giving it a thought process as to, like, well, it could be that this person might be saying something that is unhinged at this given point in time, so therefore perhaps I shouldn't try and idolize them regardless of what they say. Like, that is just being a blind sheep to somebody without actually taking any kind of considerations towards, well, is what this person's saying okay, or is it because I look up to that person so much that regardless of what I say, then doesn't matter what I say, then it's the right thing. And I'd like to think that I would rather if people like judged me from all different sorts of angles. It's not like what I put on the internet, but it's also about, like, well, what kind of activities have I done and stuff like that. Like, take all of that into consideration, and whenever you learn it, then just put that into the perspective of your thought process about that particular individual. So I think when it comes to, like, looking up to people online, you've got to really be able to take into consideration of the sort of things that they say online and all that jazz. So if you notice someone saying something but it's kind of out of the normal, then, like, probably the best thing to do is, it depends on the severity level, really. Like, if you discover that this person done a certain thing and it's like, holy gosh, like, that is a truly insane thing, and I really don't want to be in this space anymore, then ultimately it is up to you. But the thing with me is that if you learn something horrific about a particular individual and then it goes across as, well, yeah, it's horrible, but I look up to this content creator, so therefore it doesn't matter what they do, I still look up to them regardless. Now, I think there's a clear distinction between looking up to somebody because you really like what they do and just putting your head in the sand, and regardless of what they do, you're just going to like them regardless. And I feel personally that if there's somebody that I looked up to for a long time and then I discover they do something very heinous, then it's I tend to shy away from that person simply because I don't want to kind of be in that sort of interaction. But would I just try and go out of my way to say that what they've done is wrong? No, because, well, everybody else is doing it anyways, but I'm not really that sort of person. I hate drama in general, and I think this is the kind of thing that the internet has just sort of evolved to over time. It's just that everybody's looking for that one thing that's going to keep them going, that instantaneous gratification of, oh my god, the content is here, so therefore I've got to grind that content. Oh, I'm waiting for the next thing to come out from that person, so therefore I want to grind it and grind it, rather than taking things a bit slower and just digesting the content in which you see. Like, if you have a slow burner, then you take on board every second of it, and you take on board a lot of the seconds because there is a lot of content there. And whenever I make a video, I'm not too sure like the length it's gonna be. Like, people say that the golden mark of a successful video is between 10 to 20 minutes, but I'd say that it depends on the individual that's watching the video. Some people like a shorter video, other people like a longer video. Like, imagine trying to read a visual novel. It says it runs for about 12 to 20 hours of reading time, and then somebody just condenses it into 20 minutes, and somehow that is a let's play. Now, if it's like a review-based video, then absolutely, you want to get the most concrete points down in order to put forth your opinion of that particular visual novel, for example. But then, if you're doing it as a let's play, like you're just playing through the game, then you're missing out on a huge amount of detail, and that's something that somebody could really anchor on, because they may not have enough money in order to play the game themselves, so therefore they'll be kind of relying on that information because they're not able to afford the game themselves in order for them to play and be able to get to the points in which the content creator missed out on. But then the counterpoint of that is that maybe multiple content creators have covered the same game. So therefore, in that light, maybe you can check out that other content creator and be able to get the content that you desire from there. Like, there's always going to be different kinds of content creators out there. And I think that is the absolute beauty of YouTube, is that there are people who does highly detailed and edited videos. And then those who just does like crop outs of different sections of the video, which is kind of like what I'm leaning towards. Like, I find that too much editing is a distraction from the actual content in itself. But I'm not here to say like edited or highly edited videos are bad. I'm just saying that highly edited videos is an art form in and of itself, and it makes a video a hybrid between the editing itself and the content in which the video is presenting itself. Like, if you're doing lots of spin outs and lots of fade in and outs and stuff like that, or lots of zoom ins, like zoom ins are fine, I think, actually, when it comes to this game, because like you could be focusing in on a particular balloon that be escaping, like that regrow green balloon, for example, that keeps on escaping, or that one yellow balloon that keeps on escaping. Like that sort of thing. It's like, okay, that could be attention to detail, because that could be something that the the content creator actually missed out on. And lots of times when I do like test runs and I lose a game, it's like, perhaps that zooming could have been very vital. It's like, oh my god, that's an actual threat that I should have taken note of. And I'm like, oh my god, what did I lose to? Oh, I lost to that? How did I lose to that? I'm pretty sure I dealt with that balloon anyways. Anyway, Spirit of the Forest. This thing is incredibly strong, and the longer the track, the stronger that it is. And I like putting this thing in the center of this map, really, just so that we always have the most amount of the strongest forms summoned out. If it was able to, I don't know, have a small hole in the track where we can place down the Spirit of the Forest, and maybe it's able to cover just a little bit more, because it goes from the center point and grows outwards. So I don't know, maybe I'm just wishing too much. Anyways, DDTs, what do we have here? They all gone. And also, this is going to be the last video of this year, at the very least, of me having Halloween costumes for all of our balloons out here. So hopefully in the future we'll have something a bit more wintry as our decorations leading up to a certain lovely, jolly season of the late December kind. You know what I mean. I'm not going to spell out to you, but it stands for Christ, and it ends with Mus, and it goes Christmas. Oh wait, I just said it. So I think at the end of the day, when it comes to like different stuff on the internet, I think it's always down to viewer interpretation. When you see what happens and then you go from there, I think ignorance is a very, very dangerous weapon, and one in which can idolize you down a path of no return if you don't step back and think, okay, so this is what this is the kind of thing that this person has done, and this is what they're kind of capable of. Maybe I shouldn't really support this kind of creator if I discover that. But I would say it's not up to me to decide, and it's definitely not up to, well, anybody to dictate whether you want to support a particular content creator. Ultimately, it's down to you and your interpretations. But sometimes I like to put put my little bit of thought into things and be able to talk out loud, because that is what I am very good at. Talking a lot and sometimes it not making any sense. I'm not sure if I said this already or not, but I have autism. It's physical and verbal dyspraxia, so sometimes when I'm making a conversation and I'm not really making any sense at that given point in time, imagine a circuit board, but that circuit board very commonly shorts out, and in that short out I sometimes say words that doesn't make any sense in that sentence and stuff like that. And I think the awareness of autism is getting better nowadays, but back in like my mum's generation and especially my grandma's generation, autism was like a non-existent thing in which people didn't even take seriously. So it's like, well, this person is clearly stupid because they're not even getting like the simplest of things, or they're behaving oddly. And if it wasn't for all of the support that I was given by my mother especially, and also my dad too, but my mum went tooth and nail when it came to getting me the correct kind of education, the correct support within my education, then I don't think I would be anywhere near where I am today. Like, everyone has the capabilities of doing great things. Whoever you are and whatever profession that you seek to be in, I think with enough dedication and enough time, patience, practice, all that jazz, you are capable of doing almost anything. And I'd say that with the slight caution of like a physical disability that unfortunately prevents you from doing certain things. Like if you're colorblind, then unfortunately you fall into the unfortunate factor that maybe if your dream is to be a pilot, then unfortunately because of that partial or complete color blindness, you wouldn't be able to do that. And as you notice down here, if a round goes on for long enough, then any abilities that would otherwise make you money. And also, by the way, I cannot click the ability. You can see the blue hand appear. Ninja Kiwi denies you the ability of using this ability because of that factor. Because of the factor that you cannot generate money using abilities in chimps, okay? People need to be aware of that. So there are certain physical disabilities that unfortunately prevent you from achieving a particular dream that you would otherwise want to pursue. And that is unfortunately the harshness of the world in which we live in. An ideal world is 99.9% of the time not a world that exists. Like, an ideal world for me is a world without war, without famine, without any kind of gargantuous long-term suffering that really denies people of being able to access even the most basic things in order to survive. Food, clean water, a house to stay in at the end of the day, clothing. And after that, once you get all of your basic needs met, then anything that keeps you occupied, like let's say you watching this video right now, like that is a luxury in and of itself, but it's not something that everyone sees as a luxury. Some people see like having a phone, having a nice computer, having nice things as a necessity. But there are those out there, unfortunately, that don't have the means of having these nice things because of money, because of access. Sometimes it's an accessibility thing rather than a money thing. So therefore, but also the awareness of it as well. Sometimes it's not always about like either or. Sometimes it's just being able to be aware of that certain thing existing. Also, this is why we get hardcore so that we can pop LEDs and actually pop DDTs, because that's actually one of the biggest threats within a 2 Megapops, a 2-tower chim scenario. It's been able to counter all of the different kind of balloons on this given track, or any given track, to be honest. I love that. Fortified DT is definitely a big threat. But I think the biggest threat is definitely the bad, because this thing does bonus damage against... Does it do bonus damage against fortifieds? Constant damage. Oh, yeah, bonus damage. Oh, it's just ceramics that does bonus damage towards. I was thinking it does bonus damage to fortifieds. No, that's a juggernaut thing, bonus damage to fortifieds. But then again, if you are buffed by the acidic mixture... No, that's... that's ceramics again. I'm looking at the wrong details here. So, I know this video might have been a little bit, I don't know, boring, or it sounded like a podcast, but I'm sure a lot of you out there who is listening to this kind of really appreciates this, because I'm sure there are a lot of things here which you can reflect on in the real world as well. Like if you discover that somebody you really looked up to has done a certain thing which you really disapprove of, and then you took a 180 with your thought process about that particular individual because you learned that they did this said thing. But I think as well, when it comes to learning, that with enough time and enough advice from other people, then I believe that forgiveness can be something that can be applied to everyone, depending on the said thing that you've done. Obviously, certain things take a far longer amount of time in order to think about, go over. Time is often the best medicine for lots of different ailments. So just think of it what you will. I'm not here to say yes or no. And keep an open mind about everything, and almost everything really, because, well, we all only have one chance in life. So we gotta take that chance with all of the might that we have and all of the understanding that we can possibly deliver out in order to have a better tomorrow. Because today, it could be your last day. It could be my last day. You may never know what today or tomorrow presents. And it's very important to keep those who are close to us treasured, because you may never know what might happen. It could be the end of the world for all we know. You might be watching this and a gigantic asteroid is heading towards the Earth. And you're like, well, if I'm going to go out and I'm going to be doing something that I truly watch or truly love, and that is watching my favorite content creator getting all pops with Spirit of the Forest on the stupidly long map. But if you're doing that, then I'm disappointed, because you should be spending your last moments with your loved ones and ensuring that you don't have any regrets at all. Anyways, one thing that I do regret actually is this scenario and how long it's taking for this bad to go down. Can this be done? I hope so. I don't want this to be all for naught. I know I can buy this, but that's not part of the challenge. We're getting all pops with this wonderful Spirit of the Forest, and with the DT pops, we are very good in order to be able to do this in. Like, the speed of the DTs is truly a frightening thing. And with all their properties as well, makes them a frightening opponent as well, because some 2TCs and 2 Megapops are stopped by the properties of the DTs. Sometimes it can just be down to damage, but in other times it could be down to not being able to target a particular kind of balloon. And this, folks, is all pops with Spirit of the Forest. It can be done with this tower, but you just need a particular submersion support or a radar scanner possible as well, and then go from there. Like, this would be possible with just a radar scanner, and that would also be equally as achievable. But bottom path is just not possible, because you won't be able to get 8100 and then plus the other things as well to get an MIB and then go with a druid before round 28. Also round 24 as well, that's another thing. Like, MIB is there to be able to cover weaknesses of a particular tower. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I know we've done this map before, but honestly, it is such a very cool idea that you can actually get a lot of 2TCs which are not possible in official maps and try and do them on a map like this. But then there's another factor of regrows, which is also a big factor. If you can't counter regrows, then you're not going to go that far, unfortunately. Or it could just take it that you need a particular map where all of the road is very closed in, but there's a lot of it that's overlapping one another. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Please be sure to use my creator support code if you are ever in the store, but then again, it's more importantly, use a creator support code. Doesn't matter if it's mine or if it's another content creator like Rules, for example, or ISAB or SJB or even Reed or any other content creators' content creator code. Thank you so much for watching and take care of yourselves, everybody.